we continue working on the block. Let's move on to the styles. So in the styles, we will have the following code. We have a container for our item. We will attach it to that. Our container has two elements inside, a title and a description. We will also create separate selectors for them. And let's go. So the fact item is this component, right? We look at the styles directly from Figma, copy them. We have variables, inherited. These colors are already there. So particularly, there are no styles here. This will be enough. Let's take the title style now. We don't set the color. Since it is inherited, this is also inherited. Next, let's take a look. We have a div, not a heading, but the color is different, by the way. Then we will leave it as it is. For the description, we will also take the basic styles. I select the description in Figma. Here I add it. Removing the size since 20 is inherited. We also remove this and let the line height be. We have a heading, like this heading inherits the necessary sizes. Everything is great, but it should be positioned. Therefore, margin top 0. We can set the margin bottom immediately to 48 pixels and other styles. I wanted to apply Flexbox to the entire container, but we'll manage without it. And on the sides, I set the margin automatically. And now, these elements of mine also have margins. Let's see how they are positioned, if they have a common container. They don't have a common container. Then we'll proceed as follows. So, on both file, and we will still add Flexbox to we add display flex live direction column at 24 pixels, and for the heading we'll remove 48, make it 24, since this gap will also be added. Let's immediately apply the style to the link because it has a specific color here. All links inside the description will have this color. Text decoration. Disable it. And to apply all our styles, we need to run the compiler. So I'll go into the directory. And enter the command npm run start. Now, all our items are opened by default. We will need, first of all, to set some condition for these icons, as well as conditions for opening and closing. So we will implement opening and closing by hiding this description. So essentially we will have a class called show, which will display it. And we will add this show class using JavaScript. And for the header, let's create also a separate class. Let's call it open. And we now will attach an icon to this class. But the icon itself will be in a pseudo attribute because by default it should also be there. So we attach the after pseudo attribute. Let's smoke out the basic styles. That is, by default, it will be a plus. Let's try to take it now. Downloading from here doesn't work. We'll have to export it like this since it's just a font. By dragging the icon, its dimensions are 30 by 31. I'll copy this code, close it from here. And generate it in the background using a generator. So in principle, we've implemented the icon. Next, it needs to be placed in this area. We can do this using the same flex, so we'll attach display to the parent. Flex, align, items, center. Justify content space between, and also on this line, I'll add a cursor pointer. On hover, it will show a click cursor, which will indicate to the user that they need to click. So it looks much better now. Inside we have a separator. Notice between the title and the description, there are 24 pixels. Display. Let's add it and to the file. There. We have a bottom marker here. And not only that, the top one was disabled in the previous lesson. Let's return these markers back. And also do a check on the title, meaning we'll remove this title. You see, we don't have a title, but it is present in the source code because H2, this is unacceptable to avoid this. We need to go back to site.js, only in site.js. Although it might work out since we have a field separately. I didn't want to hide it, so that in the admin panel you could click on it directly in the editor. Everything is scary. So we perform a check. The autocomplete is already suggesting to me. We perform a check on the title variable. And in parentheses, we display this component. In this way, meaning everywhere, where are you guys? We need to perform a check, meaning if there is a value, otherwise it will just set it to empty. This is the effect of uTitle. And now if we refresh, oh, we need to create a recovery block, meaning we need to update here as well. Since the body has changed, when the body changes, a recovery block is needed. Here it suggests creating a recovery block. We click. We save. And check. Now we have an empty space. There's no title. And according to these descriptions, by default, they should be hidden. So we close them. Where is our description? Here we add display to us because the display block will be added. It came, and we are now on JavaScript. Let's add, and I will also add this minus now, so I export and minus. Crooked icons, some. I didn't pay attention, but it's okay. We leave it as it is. We are not interested in the beauty of the layout right now. I drag the second icon, take it into the collapsible code, into the generator, and throw it in. It has the same dimensions, 30 by 31. So for the open class, I will add it via JavaScript. After pseudo element, I will change the background. Let's see. No unnecessary styles seem to be set. It looks good. I'll add the heading back. And now we need to implement dynamics in JavaScript, adding the necessary classes on click, and they will work on the accordion. For this, we will go to a in UJS. This means that this is a special file which is connected only to the front part. We need this dynamic on the front part. We write. We will run it when everything is loaded. We will have a certain element that we will place, our fax. So we will call it fax. I take it by our key and files. Here, by this key. I take everything, since we have several of them. Then I will go through the loop. In this element, I see auto-completion is quite, but not very, only we don't need it. I will go through the loop on our object. And we will have, for each section, an element for the question. So we create it, and in the section, I will be using the selector and by the key effect, title. This is exactly the key I am using. The same goes for the second element. Therefore, I will create an answer, element, answer, and publish auto-completion, fully understanding. Next, when clicking on the question, that is, what is our question? The question is this line. It doesn't matter, plus or here on this line. When clicking, we attach a click event. Upon clicking, what is the first thing we do on the answer? We should add or remove the class that we added, this show. That is, to show or not to show. Therefore, here instead of open, we put show. And the second point, we should add the same class, but only open to the question itself. Therefore, on questions, we do the same thing. We use toggle, but with the class open. It's on this class, you see. I attach the icon. In principle, we don't need to do anything else here. You can also add code so that by default the first one is open, but usually accordions don't do that. That is, if you want the first one to be open, you should add an option in the admin panel. And only in this case should it open. So let's leave it like this by default and test it. So when clicked, it opens perfectly. Whether you click on the plus or the title. Our link is displayed in the right light. You can also add a hover. How to add this? You can leave it as is, and in principle everything related to the styling of this block is implemented. Let's now look in the admin panel to see what's happening here. I refresh with cache. Clearing, this is important and necessary. It's a pity that everything is required. Let's take a look now at the source code, because here clearly these borders are more than normal, which means only on this effect 16 pixels are added of margin that we added here. Since we have a class conflict with the same class, we can rename it like this: Gutenberg FX item. Go to edit JS and where we create the component, rename this class Gutenberg FX here. And then there won't be this conflict. That is, I added a style for the sidebar and it is applied here as well. Let's refresh. Looks wonderful. Now everything is perfect here. Actually, for the admin part? Why I say I left this so it can be edited here. Here I click and write some code. But it's inconvenient to edit the content. You need to go into the sidebar. This is not good. And for the admin part, it would be nice to proceed as follows. That is, take this FAQ, item description, and not hide it. That is, remove this from it. The display value too. Let's take it like this. Interrupt. I will add a display to it. Block. And the FAQ section will look like it's always open for us. Let's refresh. Make sure of it. And it's convenient. No, because the user can right here in real time, select something, edit something. Otherwise, even when we add our link, we kind of won't be able to add it. But physically we can write it down. Right here, HTML tags. But it's inconvenient, so I resort to this trick. Now, our block is completely ready, and we can use it even in the footer of our site, which we will do in the next lesson. With this, we conclude this lesson.